The most shocking thing I discovered after 15 years as a marriage counselor isn't what you'd expect. It's not that couples stop talking. It's not that they stop trying. It's that they stop truly connecting through the one language that speaks louder than words: physical touch. But here's the twist that most people never realize. The touch that creates real intimacy has nothing to do with what happens in the bedroom. I'm Sarah Mitchell, and I've worked with over 3,000 couples across the country. From couples in their 20s just starting out to those celebrating 50 years together who somehow feel like they're living with a stranger. And what I'm about to share with you will probably surprise you, because the 7 places I'm going to show you today aren't what most men think they are. Before we dive in, let me tell you about something that happened just last month. A woman named Linda, 54 years old, married 28 years, sat in my office and said something that broke my heart. She said, "Sarah, I feel invisible. My husband touches me, but it's like he's touching air. He goes through the motions, but I don't think he actually feels me anymore." That sentence right there explains everything that's wrong with how most of us approach physical connection. We've turned it into a routine instead of a conversation, a checklist instead of a connection. And women feel that difference in their bones. Here's what most people don't understand about female psychology. A woman's nervous system is constantly asking one fundamental question when you touch her. Does he see me? Really see me? Not just my body, but me. The person inside. The woman with dreams and fears and a whole inner world that she's hoping you'll notice. When the answer is yes, something magical happens. Her whole body relaxes, her breathing deepens. She moves toward you instead of tolerating your touch. But when the answer is no, or even maybe, she pulls back. Not because she doesn't love you, because her body is protecting her heart. So let's talk about the 7 places that speak directly to that deeper part of her. The places that say, without words, that you see her completely. The first place is her temples. Those soft spots right where her hairline meets her forehead. This might seem random, but think about it. This is where stress lives, where headaches start, where the weight of everything she carries settles at the end of a long day. When you place your fingertips there, just barely touching, with no pressure at all, you're doing something profound. You're acknowledging that she carries weight, that you notice, that you want to help ease it. I had a client named Robert who started doing this with his wife every evening when she came home from work. No words, just a gentle touch to her temples while she sat down. Within 2 weeks, she told him it was the part of her day she looked forward to most, not because it felt physically amazing, but because it felt like being truly seen. The second place is the center of her palm. Not holding her hand, though that's nice too. I'm talking about using your thumb to draw slow, small circles right in the center of her palm. There's something about this spot that connects directly to a woman's emotional center. Maybe it's because our hands are how we give, how we create, how we express love. When you pay attention to her palms, you're honoring all of that. Try this tonight. When you're sitting together, take her hand and just focus on that center spot. Don't rush it. Don't treat it like a stepping stone to somewhere else. Let it be complete in itself. Watch how her whole body responds. Watch how her breathing changes. This one small gesture can shift the entire energy between you. The third place is the soft spot behind her ear, right where her neck curves. This area is incredibly sensitive, but more than that, it's vulnerable. It's a place that requires trust to touch. When you brush your fingertips along this spot very lightly, you're communicating something specific, that you have permission to be close, that she feels safe with you, that intimacy exists between you. A woman named Carol told me that when her husband started touching this spot while they watched TV together, it felt more intimate than anything they'd done in years. Because it wasn't going anywhere, it wasn't asking for anything, it was just saying, "I want to be close to you." The fourth place is her lower back, right above her hips. This is the physical center of a woman's body. It supports everything. It carries everything. And in most relationships, it goes completely unnoticed. When you place your hand here, especially when you're standing behind her, something happens in her nervous system. Her brain interprets this as protection, as stability, as someone saying, "I've got you." I worked with a couple where the wife had been feeling overwhelmed for months. Work, kids, family drama, everything hitting at once. Her husband started placing his hand on her lower back whenever she was cooking dinner or doing dishes, just standing close, hand resting there, breathing together. She later told me it was the first time in years she felt like she wasn't carrying everything alone. The fifth place is her wrist, specifically where her pulse beats. This one surprises people, but think about it. Your pulse is your life force. It's the rhythm of your existence. When someone holds your wrist gently, thumb resting on that pulse point, they're connecting with the most fundamental part of you, your aliveness. There's something almost reverent about this touch. It requires you to slow down completely, to sync with her rhythm instead of imposing your own. When you do this, you're telling her body that you want to match her energy, not change it, that you're interested in her inner world, not just her outer response. The sixth place is her collarbone, particularly the small hollow right at the center where her collarbones meet. This area is delicate, feminine, often hidden under clothes and forgotten. When you trace this spot with just the tip of your finger, very slowly, you're paying attention to the details of her, the subtle beauty that might get overlooked in the rush of daily life. One husband I worked with told me he started doing this while his wife was getting ready in the morning. Just a gentle touch to her collarbone while she was putting on jewelry or fixing her hair. He said it became their moment of connection before the day pulled them in different directions. She said it made her feel beautiful in a way that went deeper than appearance. The seventh place is the one that will surprise you most, the inside of her elbow, that soft skin where her arm bends. This spot is tender, protected, rarely touched except by accident. When you hold her arm gently and trace this area with your thumb, you're touching a place that speaks to vulnerability and trust. There's something about this touch that feels nurturing rather than passionate, caring rather than demanding. It says, I want to know all of you, even the places you forget about yourself. I had a woman tell me that when her partner started paying attention to this spot, it felt like being truly cherished for the first time. Now, here's what all of these places have in common. They're not obvious. They're not the first places most men think to touch. They require attention, intention, and most importantly, they require you to slow down, way down. Because here's the thing about women and touch. Speed kills connection. Urgency destroys intimacy. When your hands move like they're in a hurry to get somewhere else, her nervous system gets the message. This isn't about me. This is about what comes next. But when your hands move like they have nowhere to go, like this moment of touching her temple or her wrist or the soft spot behind her ear is the destination itself, everything changes. Her body relaxes into your touch instead of bracing against it. She feels seen instead of used, connected instead of accessed. I think about a couple I worked with last year, married 32 years. He kept saying she'd become cold, distant, unresponsive to his touch. She kept saying she felt like an object, something to be gotten through rather than someone to be appreciated. We spent one session just on this. I taught him these 7 places. Told him to forget about everything else for 2 weeks. Just focus on touching her in these ways with no agenda whatsoever. 3 weeks later, they came back in holding hands. She looked at him differently. He moved toward her differently. She told me later, it's like he remembered I'm a person, not just a body. Like he's actually curious about me again. That's what this kind of touch does. It reminds both of you that there's a whole person inside the body you're touching. Someone with thoughts and feelings and an inner world that deserves your attention. The research backs this up too. Studies show that women have significantly more nerve endings in these subtle areas than men do. Their skin is literally more responsive to gentle, intentional touch. But more than that, women's brains are wired to connect physical touch with emotional meaning. Every time you touch her, her nervous system is interpreting what that touch means. Is it respectful? Is it present? Is it about her? Or about what you want from her? When you touch these 7 places with genuine attention and no rush, you're speaking directly to that deeper part of her brain. The part that's always asking, does he see me? Does he value me? Am I safe with him? And when the answer is yes, her whole body says yes back. Here's what I want you to try this week. Pick one of these 7 places. Just one. When you're with your partner, find a quiet moment and touch that spot with complete attention. No words necessary, no agenda beyond simply connecting with her. Watch what happens. Notice how she responds, not just physically, but emotionally. Because here's what I've learned in 15 years of helping couples reconnect. The problem is never that people stop loving each other. The problem is that they stop speaking each other's language. And for most women, especially as they get older and life gets more complicated, the language of touch is everything. But it has to be the right kind of touch. Slow, respectful, present, and genuinely interested in her as a person. You have the power to change everything between you, starting tonight. Not with grand gestures or expensive gifts, but with the simple act of placing your hand on her temple and meaning it, of holding her wrist and feeling her pulse and remembering that this is the rhythm of the person you love, of touching the soft spot behind her ear and letting that touch say what words sometimes can't. I see you, I value you, I'm here. Your relationship is worth that kind of attention. She is worth that kind of attention, and the connection you're looking for, the intimacy you remember, the feeling of being truly close to each other. It's all possible. It starts with slowing down. It starts with noticing. It starts with remembering that the woman you love is right there, waiting to be truly seen.